Welcome to Yoga with Tracy. Come join me in this 30-minute yin yoga practice to relax tension and release body stiffness. Hi, I'm Tracy. Coming onto your hands and knees. Take the knees as wide as feels right today and bringing the big toes together. Dropping the hips back towards the heels as you start to walk the hands forwards and melt your heart down. Feeling the weight of your shoulders pulling the shoulder blades wide across your back. And closing your eyes as you relax into the posture. If you're feeling any uncomfortable sensations in the lower back, bring your knees in slightly. And feel free to use props here to support the chest or forehead. Throughout today's practice, connect to the slow rhythm of your breath. To maintain this, try counting for 4 as you inhale, holding for 1, and then counting for 4 as you exhale, and again pausing for 1. Enjoy this gorgeous posture called tadpole for 3 more slow breaths. Coming up, so you're resting on your forearms, knees remaining separated. Lift your hips so your hips are in line with your knees. Take the feet as wide as your knees, toes pointing outwards. And if you would like to deepen the pose, begin to extend your arms forward one at a time, and then resting your head or chin and the torso on the mat or a folded blanket. Notice how this feels, and if the intensity is too much, coming back up onto your elbows and forearms, or back into tadpole, drawing your big toes together. If you're finding the pressure too intense on the knees, try using some padding underneath them. In today's practice, we'll be holding each of the asanas for around 2.5 minutes. Please feel free to use props, which will help to make some of the asanas more accessible. In yin yoga, it's not about how it looks, but how it feels. We all have different limits of flexibility, and our range of motion can be limited by tension. You want to find the right amount of stress for you. If you feel any pain, you've pushed too hard, back out the pose, the sensation ceases. Allow yin to work deeply into your body with the passive, longer-held postures. There's no need for effort, trying harder to push the body's limitations. Instead, just relax into the positions and let gravity do the work. Slowly rolling onto your stomach and extending your legs. Placing your hands under your shoulders and gently pushing yourself up. Have your legs and feet together as you bring your seat back towards your heels. Folding forwards as you lower your upper body onto your thighs, your forehead on the mat, or you could use a blanket, and arms at your sides with palms facing up. The frog pose gave us the opportunity to release deep held tension in the hips. And now this counter pose called child's pose. is a beautiful way to rest and release tension in our necks and back before we move on to our next asana called Low Flying Dragon. Use your hands to push the floor away from you so you're sitting on your heels. Moving back onto your hands and knees and stepping your left foot between your hands. Walk the front foot forward until the knee is over the heel and slide the back knee backwards as far as you can go. Hands should remain on either side of the front foot, or for a deeper stretch, place both hands inside the front foot, move the foot a few inches towards the edge of the mat, and come down to rest on your forearms or on a prop. If the back knee is uncomfortable, try placing a blanket underneath. Feel free to make adjustments, find the right variation for you, and then coming into stillness. As we target the quads and hip socket of the front leg, focus your attention on the breath and how the body moves with each inhalation and exhalation. Carefully coming back onto your hands and knees. Have your hands slightly ahead of your shoulders, curling your toes under and pushing yourself up into a downward facing dog. Inhaling and exhaling deeply as you push your heels towards the mat and enjoy the stretch at the back of the legs. Bring the knees back to the mat, and from hands and knees, step in your right foot forwards. Repeating Low Flying Dragon on the opposite side. Find your edge and let your body release into the posture. Your first edge should feel like a sense of tugging. Don't become impatient, move slowly. There may be some tightness after a few moments, and then the sensation will start to change, a feeling of opening as your body moves deeper into that pose. This is when you've found your second edge. Let's release out of the pose, coming back onto your hands and knees. Pressing your hands into the mat as you tuck your toes under and lifting up into downward facing dog. Relaxing your head between your hands, and you might like to try pedaling out your feet a few times. Releasing and bring the knees to the mat. Seat to your heels. And then taking your seat to one side. Have your props handy and then come to lie down onto your back. Have your knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Get your back comfortable. And then taking hold of a block or a similar prop, lift the hips just high enough to slide this under your pelvis. Make sure the block is under the pelvis and not under the lower back. We want the lumbar spine to be unsupported. And have your hands resting softly on your stomach. You can try changing the height of your prop to intensify the stretch. Raising the arms overhead, providing flexion to the arms and shoulders, and increasing the tension in the lower belly. And maybe straightening the legs to create a deeper stress in the lower back, sacrum and hip flexors. Find your edge. Coming into stillness. And focusing on your breath. This is a really juicy pose, so as we come out, do this very slowly. Start by bending the knees again and walking the feet towards you. Lowering the arms, engaging your core muscles and lifting your hips just an inch, just enough to allow you to slide the support away. And then slowly lower your hips and pause in. Allow the back to melt into the floor as we give ourselves a few moments here. Placing your hands at your sides and wrapping your right thigh over the left. You want your knees stacked and your back settled into the mat. Drawing your knees towards your chest and holding your knees, shins or the ankles from the outside. We want to try not to use too much muscular effort here. Spreading the lower legs away from each other and pulling the knees close to the chest for reclined shoelace. Feel the sensation of your breath, a smooth, steady breath in and out through the nose. Releasing the feet, but keeping the legs crossed as you bring the left foot to the floor. Moving into twisted roots, let your knees drop over to the left. Open your arms to the side like wings, about shoulder height. Or with your left hand, you may prefer to place that on the outside of your right leg. And breathing deeply into your stomach. Both shoulders remaining grounded. And you should start to feel a deep pull in your hip, lower back and side. If you're finding this variation too intense, try uncrossing the legs to soften the posture and returning into a standard spinal twist. Slowly rolling onto your back and uncrossing your legs. crossing your left leg over your right. We're going to repeat those two postures on the opposite side. Drawing your knees into your chest. And remember, we don't want to use too much muscular effort. Placing your hands on your knees, shins or ankles. And then putting your knees closer to your chest. Releasing and moving into twisted roots. Let your knees drop over to the right. Keep your shoulders down, arms out to the sides. Or you might like to rest your right hand on the outside of your left leg. Releasing as you roll onto your back, uncrossing the legs and hugging your knees into your chest. A lovely way to release the sacrum and lumbar. Rocking the hips side to side, gently massaging the lower back. Finishing today's practice in Savasana so we can absorb the benefits of the class today. Lengthening the legs along the mat, feet about hip width as you let your feet fall open on either side. Bringing the arms alongside the body but slightly away from the torso, palms facing upwards. Letting the fingers softly curl in. Tucking your shoulder blades into your back for support. Closing your eyes and relaxing your whole body, including your face, your brow, and inviting your body to completely relax, letting your body feel heavy, settling into stillness as you let the floor support your whole body. Begin to wiggle your toes and fingers. Placing your arms overhead for a full body stretch. Then bending your knees, rolling on to one side and pushing yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Notice how calm and relaxed you feel. How we've given our bodies the chance to release that deep held tension. Thank you so much for joining me in today's class. I hope you've enjoyed. Before we go, rolling the shoulders back and down, inhaling deeply through the nose for a count of 4, and sighing out through the mouth. Bringing your palms together in front of your heart space, thumbs up to your third eye, and bowing forwards, whisper Namaste.